So, and in my periodic, which will actually be like not as untimely as usual, because of things playing into how we're recording this, but
I
my
think this is coming
periodic
out like 3 weeks
updates,
after we recorded or
yeah,
something.
so it's
Yeah.
not too out of date. My periodic like updates on Star Trek related video games. I think I
hmm
talked about the. Did we talk about it on or off the air? The Voyager like choices matter management game where you like
Oh,
play through like
Across the
episodes of
Unknown. We did
Voyager.
we did talk about it on the podcast. Yes, we did.
Okay. So it interestingly, I think it seems like Star Trek is kind of going towards this like instead of sort of big kind of like like flagship title type like games going more towards this like what almost feel like a small studio making an indie game like getting the Star Trek branding on it. So there's
Sure.
a couple more that had just gotten announced, I think
Oh,
during
really?
because
Okay.
recently was the whole like whatever E3 is now, like a bunch, all of the different like co- conventions and stuff where they announce a bunch of upcoming video games.
hmm
And so one of them is, what is it called? Outposts Unknown, Star Trek Outposts Unknown, which is a like sort of like colony builder type thing, like a little like city builder type. One of those where like, and like the premise of it is like you have, there's this you've sent like a team down to this planet to sort of build like a little research outpost on it, and like it's and like that one does have a demo that I
hmm
played that like it's one of those that I think is part of this like genre of game. Like it's pretty slow. Like there's a lot of just sort of waiting for your people to like walk back and forth, like mining ore and carrying it back to a construction site and going back out to mine more ore and carry it
Sure.
back. Um, and has kind of limited like I don't know. It seems like it could. My review is like it feels like it could use a little bit more like some kind of special like Star Trek sauce. Like it's
Yeah.
um like again like just kind of something more happening than just like kind of building buildings that then unlock more buildings that let you like more efficiently collect resources. But
Yeah.
if you're
But
into that type of
but
game,
but
like it's a
I will say that yeah, it's like it says it's inspired by the Sims Spore and Sim City. I don't really have a big affection for the Sims. Spore is like one of my favorite bad games of all time.
yeah,
And I love
Spore was such a
SimCity, and they have
fun.
not made a good SimCity in many, many, many years. So I could see
Yeah.
myself get into this.
Yeah, or if you've ever played like Surviving Mars was I think the one it felt the most like to me, or like it's almost kind of like the first couple minutes of a real-time strategy where you're just like building your base before you start making armies and that kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's if you're into that kind of game, like it's and you have like a tech tree where you can like unlock more things and yeah, and it's got like basically your crew all have different like specializations. Like you have like your science officer and your engineering and your security, and they all kind of are differently skilled to do different kind of tasks in the and like work in
hmm
different buildings and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a fun like idea for a thing to do with Star Trek that's not just I don't know. I feel like anytime there's a game that's not just like, oh, it's a first person shooter, um, I'm definitely into it.
Yeah. That's
Um,
yeah. That's interesting. I'm
yeah.
currently in a weird spot right now where it's like I'm like, should I go back? I beat Fire Emblem again. Should I go back to playing Silk Song?
Oh, I think I forgot
But
to. I think I forgot to tell you. I'm finally playing Three Houses
oh, do you
for
like it?
like the first time, however many years after it came out. I do. It's a lot of fun. I'm still, I think, reasonably early in it, but yeah,
Which
it is definitely my jam.
which house are you
Like that
playing,
is my
or
type of game.
which
I'm
house?
the Dimitri house, whichever
Oh,
one that
okay.
is.
The worst one
The like,
in my opinion.
is it really okay? It was one of those like I feel like they make you choose early before you really know what's going on.
hmm
But I was like, I don't know, they're like noble knights or whatever. I felt like I liked the sort of side characters in that one the most from like my first impressions. Where I was like, there's people in all the other ones that like seem like they would annoy me.
They're all of the lines are good, and obviously you can recruit like professors and other people from the other houses to join, and that's one of the great things about that game is that like every time you play it, it can be different because it's like
you can make your team whatever you want,
right? But also even like in the supports, there are people who have supports with each other that you would never get unless you recruited one of them into the other person's
interesting
house. So like there's always
I didn't
always
realize
like,
that. That's kind of cool
to
because I've recruited I think a bunch of the professors. I don't know if I've like gotten sort of like leveled up enough that I've been able to successfully recruit like other house people yet. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was also fun.
I can't because
I was like I was reading through. I know.
So long, but
I was looking something up on because I was looking up like how does like weight or like some one of the like mechanics I was like trying to look up and like got like a Reddit post on or whatever, and I saw like there was a like one of the other posts under it was someone being like it's a fun like I think the gameplay is fun, but I really like wish you didn't have to waste so much time just running around the monastery talking to people and doing fetch quests. And I was just like, I think might be playing the wrong game.
Right. I know other people have said that same thing, and I'm like, I love doing that.
That's the point of
I love running around and then like inviting people to tea, and then like and then the tea thing is like you did a great job with the tea thing, and I'm like,
yeah, good job picking topics of conversation. This person likes you.
Yeah. Right. I think that's one of the reasons why I like the game so much is that like I would love like the idea of like
just to get the little like heart active, in the corner of the screen.
I think we talked about this actually way back in the day when we were talking about the Star Trek game that I stopped playing because my save got messed up. That like the idea of like any time that like I have a social interaction with somebody, then if there's like a little thing that pops up that says like you did a good job, like that sounds great to me.
Spock likes you more now.
Right. Yeah. And it's like that's all I want is for Spock to like me more.
Yeah. So anyways, the other one that got announced I think is one that like is not my jam, but I think
I looked at the other thing that was announced and I was like, oh man, like that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm very like interested that they're making it, even though like it's not my thing at all. But it's a like it seems like a like horror game, but it's starring Ro Lauren. I think they even like Michelle Forbes as Ro Lauren
is voicing it. Yeah.
So interesting. Which I'm just like that's very, and it's by like the team that did I think like they did maybe like some of the Silent Hill games or Layers of Fear. Like they've done like sort of like well-regarded like horror games. So yeah, it's a very like interesting choice that I'm like not gonna play, but very like interested.
I can see myself playing this. I love her. I love Ro Lauren. So I could see myself getting down on that. All right. Well, yeah, those are.
So that's my upcoming Star Trek video game news.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll have to check in on that later. My birthday's coming up, and I don't think I'm going to get Across the Unknown, but I did list it as a potential gift.
Yeah, that is the one of all. Again, like I could see myself getting into the Outposts one, especially like if they kind of like tweak it, because I think they say like it's still kind of early in demo. We're still gonna change stuff. Across the Unknown, I could definitely see myself like playing through, possibly multiple times to like
see what happens.
Again, because like if the whole conceit is like you can all of the things that you think Janeway did wrong, you can do right.
Yeah.
That's
but
fun.
Here's this is a perfect segue because it's like I think we're going to talk about like Janeway's
a pretty good Janeway episode. Yeah,
in this episode, and I think one where she handles it pretty well. So, hi everybody, welcome to Out of Contreks, show where two guys who have seen part of Star Trek try to watch all of it in no particular order. I'm Ryan Howard,
and I'm Brady Jungle,
and today we're talking about Good Shepherd, which is an episode I had basically forgotten about, and I sort of remembered only when we watched it. But it's season 6, episode 20 of Voyager. It is written by Diana Gitto and Joe Menosky, and it is directed by Winrich Colby. The episode synopsis is: when 3 crewmen are shown to be hampering efficiency, Captain Janeway decides to give them some special attention by taking them on an away mission. Diana Giddo, I've never heard of her name. She just wrote this one episode. Not only did she just write this one episode, this is her only credit for anything.
Like the only screenwriting she's just...
I think so.
Wow.
I'm
interesting.
Yeah, she has a writing credit on this. She has no other credits, writing or otherwise, of any kind on IMDb. So
interesting.
Man,
huh.
Mysterious. I wonder what her deal was.
Yeah.
Joe Menosky, obviously.
Yeah.
A very prolific Star Trek writer. One of the few Star Trek writers that has written for the new era of shows in addition to the old era. So, and Rich Colby, another now departed, but another a big time.
Yeah, one of the like
director guys or
high volume directors.
Trek, but this episode I really liked because it, I think, does a good job of being about 2 different things. I think it is both about the unique circumstances of Voyager, of what's going on the ship, and I think it is also a very interesting there's no like metaphor. It's not like but it's like it's an interesting episode about like a real life problem and how one might need to deal with it,
kind of specific problem, like types of people that you may have to incorporate into a workplace of some sort.
Yep. And it's like what is it like it is ultimately an episode about having like bad coworkers, or bad employees, I guess, maybe, and sort of like
right
how you might have to deal with that. But then also it is about specifically like Star Trek Voyager and like the unique problems.
Yeah, they kind of reference a few times of just like, like if we were just on a normal starship, this is how this problem would have been solved by now.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do if you can't?
You can't just fire them.
Fire somebody,
yeah.
And which is pretty interesting. I don't know.
I agree.
But yeah, so why don't you take us into the episode? We can talk more about what exactly.
Yeah, so this is one that I kind of came into like, I don't know. I feel like I was very sort of tentative starting in, of just like, I don't know if this is gonna pull off what it wants to do or not, and it ended up not being like fully what I wanted it, because it very much starts out. I don't know. The vibe I got starting out was just like, hey, remember how good Lower Decks the episode was?
That's what I was about
everybody
to say.
liked that.
I imagine you felt the same way as I did, which is that I was like, I'm getting a lot of Lower Decks vibes off of this,
Yeah, and I think like, especially because it like, I don't remember this episode at all. I was just like, well, it must not be as good as Lower Decks. Mm-hmm. So, but like, it kind of feels like they're just trying to do Lower Decks again.
But that's
which I feel really... like it wasn't really. Yeah, it's more of an episode about Janeway than like. But yeah, it kind of introduces these 3 like, sort of minor crew people on the ship that are. It starts out with them sort of like, oh, like someone has like either Torres or 7 of 9 or someone like hands a pad to someone and is just like, oh, take this up to, like whoever in engineering, and like they kind of pass it off between them and walk through the ship and kind of carry it around. But yeah, it's these 3 crew members. It's Tal Celis, who's Bajoran that works in astrometrics.
And we can get into what their problems are in a second, because I think they discuss what their problems are in a really good scene later on, and like with 7 later on. So we should talk about that separately.
Yeah. Then there's William Telfer, who is just kind of there. He's I think the least interesting. What's that?
They're both humans, right? The other 2 guys.
I think so. Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
And then Mortimer Heron, who works in like this kind of like sort of weird little cubby hole in the back of like a deck that nobody goes to. And so it kind of like shows all of them, and then basically how the real episode, like when they kind of start getting into the story, it starts out with 7 of 9 has done like an audit of the ship basically, and is giving all of the departments like a report card on how like efficient they are and what all their problems
I really
are.
like this scene a lot,
which is fun. Yeah. It's also one of those that like really points out the whole, because it's like, it's like the heads of all of the departments, and also Harry Kim is apparently like in charge of all of operations.
Yeah, and it's like,
is kind of how they make it seem. But he's an ensign. Because I feel like
it's like the other people,
I don't know. It normally
ship...
just kind of seems like he's the sort of operations person that just kind of always happens to be the one on the bridge when something's happening. But apparently he's just like chief of operations and also an ensign.
Right, because it's like the 3 problem employees in this are all ensigns, and it's like, well, they shouldn't have the same level of job as him.
Rank is like, the one that like, because he's getting feedback on like, here are what all like the people under you, like how you need to manage them better. Also, you're the same rank as them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 7 kind of goes through like the different departments,
and
like Tuvok is like very happy that like security was pretty much perfect, and then gets like real annoyed that she's like, well, technically you could more efficiently be
guns. And I like, and he kind of like makes this face where he's like, he's so proud of himself, like obviously for being good, and then she says that, and he's like annoyed, but he's also like, yeah, she's right. He's like,
it's I think the only thing Tuvok gets to do in this episode.
But it's like,
he's really good.
It is. I think it's like literally his only scene, and I'm like, man, he crushes it. It's really really good.
I love Tuvok. But yeah, and then like in each of the other departments, they sort of bring up this like, you have this one person in your department that's really kind of like making everything harder for everyone else. So you're like not using properly, and it's that Heron, who's in engineering, is like, they're like, oh, he's really smart and like has kind of all this knowledge about cosmic theory or whatever, but like he's like, you're like, Torres is only just using him to like manage this one kind of like plasma relay, and she's like, well, he doesn't like basically refuses to do anything else.
He's lazy. Yeah, he just wants. All he wants to do is just to do like math.
Yes, and it's kind of, I don't know. He was the one that I think, like initially, I was worried that are they going to try to be like presenting someone who's like somewhere on the like spectrum of like autistic spectrum disorders or that kind of thing. And I think then as it plays out, like it's not. It doesn't feel portrayed to me like as that at all. It's just he's just an asshole.
Yeah, he's just a dick. Yeah,
he's just a jerk who like doesn't like anybody and doesn't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, all he does is like he's kind of like obsessed with sort of like proving these like theoretical origins of the universe theorems, and like doesn't care about like doing anything on the ship. And then there's, I keep having to look up these people's names because I don't remember any of them. Celis, who's the Bajoran, who is like just kind of like not good at her job, basically. Like
she just kind of like is bad at. She has to basically, she works in a department that is math oriented, and she's bad.
Yes,
at math.
I think they kind of like it ends up being like basically she's just bad at math.
Yeah,
like she just like makes a lot of mistakes, and like even though she's like trying her best, she just like can never like be quite good enough.
Yeah,
and like just makes a bunch of mistakes, and so she works for Seven, who's like always like is basically just like she wastes everyone's time because like everything she does, I have to go back and double check because she makes so many. Like she does it so badly.
And I like Seven. Seven is great too in the scene where she's talking about this because Seven's like, yeah, she's no good. We should probably transfer her to Balana's department. Like that's right. That's her solution.
Yeah, and then Telfer is basically just they're like he's a hypochondriac that he just like is always going to sick bay because he's got like developed some anxiety that he has some strange alien disease and needs to be checked out for it.
Right. Yeah.
And he just kind of like wastes everybody's time doing that. And he's like afraid to do anything and just kind of like he has anxiety and like therefore is like, and that's why he's bad at his job.
And what I like about one of the things I like about this episode is that like I think all three of these people are really credibly annoying. Like they
yes.
are.
Yeah, but in a very like kind of like relatable, like real seeming way.
Where you're like it is, and I don't know. I mean, how have you managed people that much? I don't really like. How much have we talked about this?
A little, yeah, I have. Kind of, yeah, through like residency and like even now I'm like kind of like like have a team that I manage that. Right now, my team is very good, so I don't have.
I'm not casting aspersions on any of my.
But yes, I definitely have been in that. Yes,
I have managed people.
Been in a position of having other people that I need to manage. Yeah,
I have for most of my career. I have managed people in like one capacity or another, and I and I've also like worked in like larger management structures where maybe I'm not managing someone, but like I am seeing how other people are managing, or like I have to interact with people where like I am higher on the ladder than them, even if I'm not directly managing them, like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I found these characters like so like well sketched where you're just like, yeah, like where like the question is kind of like, well, what do you do? Because like even like, you know, obviously like you maybe the answer is like you fire them or whatever, but then it's like, well, but you like that isn't like good enough. You know what I mean?
It doesn't do anything for the root problem. It just makes it not your problem anymore.
Right. It's like on on the show. Obviously, like they can't fire them because like that is I think the other kind of like interesting little like wrinkle of this episode.
Yeah.
Is that basically Janeway is like, well, like. They have to stay on the ship, and so we can't just like and not only like is it not really great for the ship if they are you know, just kind of like if we basically fire them and just say you can live on the ship, but also it's not good for them. Like she's like, you know, we have to figure out like a way to like make sure that they're living like fulfilled lives. But like as you know, in the managerial kind of like world, I think the other aspect of it is just this thing of like, well, you have to do professional development and it's like you can't just like always be replacing your problems, and because it's just like more expensive and it takes a lot of resources to do. And also, you know, I think if you're a good manager, you're trying to also have, it doesn't mean that you should never fire anybody, but like, you know, you have to have some sort of like an attempt to be advocating for your employees or your coworkers, you know, like
the part of your responsibility is
right, exactly. And so I think it does such a good job at like showing both the dilemma, the real world dilemma, and the space dilemma, both like quite well. And
because each of them gets a kind of like, when they're on the mission, gets a sort of like solo scene with Janeway where they really do a good job, like kind of actually like put time into like digging into all of the implications of this, of kind of like that character's sort of thing.
Right. And like I really thought, because I just like I recognized all three of these honestly, all three of these people I have worked with someone who's like that. Like again, I'm not saying that I'm not at all casting aspersions on like my current staff if they were to listen to this. And if you're a former staff or a former coworker of mine, you happen to hear this, like you can take your own conclusions, but just to go ahead and assume I'm probably not talking about you. But it's like, I definitely have worked with narcissists, and I've definitely worked with people who like are so prone to like kind of like prioritizing like their personal comfort or their personal like anxiety that it renders them like ineffective. And I've also just worked with people who just like kind of suck, you know, like where it's just like, well, what, you're nice or whatever, but like you are just not really proving yourself like up to the challenge of like what we're trying to do here, you know? And I don't know. I found that really, I just really liked that. I really thought that it was really well done.
Yeah, it felt like they kind of like they picked things that they could really, yeah, like do something with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and so basically, like Janeway kind of recognizes this as just like, okay, I kind of am right. Like part of my duty as the captain to the crew is to be like kind of take an interest in and be putting my own effort into making these people better
Yeah.
members of Starfleet and like better members of the crew that can actually like be doing something and contributing. And so decides like I'm going to kind of take like a personal hand in this. Where they're flying by this like nebula thing that they want to do some scans of, and so she's just like, you know, it's a routine mission, but it's like it is an away mission with like building experience. None of these people have ever gone on any away missions in the whole like
Yeah.
course of our time. So like I'm gonna personally like take them out on this mission, kind of give them all some like captain time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, and then there's also I think like a really good scene where she's going up to talk to Heron. Is it Heron? I may be getting people's names wrong, but the jerk one. And you kind of like it I think really well illustrates that whole like, oh, like she has kind of gotten into this like, like there is that distance between the captain on the bridge and the like this sort of deck of the ship that she's never been on before, and like all these people that are just kind of like there's like a couple of like sort of side characters that are just in this scene that are also, you can tell, just kind of like just kind of don't really fit in and are just kind of like, this is where all the people that like
where they're like, what
nobody else wants to deal with, because there's this like super
they're weirded out that she's down there. Like
yeah,
I really liked that guy. He's just in this one scene, but I liked the guy who's just like, when she's just like, how are you? And he's like, oh, I'm doing great. But he's just like, it's like, he seems fine, but like, he's also just like,
yeah, but he's like,
oh, it's so
doesn't
weird
understand
here. Like,
why she's there. Yeah. Like this is not somewhere where the captain is. Yeah, I think that's a good scene of just kind of showing that like unfamiliarity that she has with like what's going on her own ship, and her kind of like realizing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so she takes all of them out on this mission, and when they're again kind of like has these sort of conversations. I don't know if all of them happen, but like has these conversations with all of the different ones of them. I think even before any like thing actually happens, but just kind of talking through them about what their issue is. And yeah, like I don't know. Is there anything like more to kind of dig into about each of them individually, or did we?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like, yeah, I think like they all kind of have their own. They're relatively easy to define, like problem that they are.
Like the one guy basically says like, I never wanted to be in Starfleet. I just want to be like an academic, but you have to complete like a 1 year like tour on a starship to advance in this. And so like I was supposed to just like do that, be done, and move on. And like now have been stranded out here for 6 years.
Right.
Like,
It's
don't want to be here. I don't like any of you. I don't want to do any of this.
And obviously that guy is being like a jerk, but like I think that again the episode does a pretty good job at sort of like explaining that, and you're sort of like, well, it doesn't justify his behavior, but like you're like, oh yeah, well that does really suck. And it's like he is basically like the kind of person where it's like he joined the military to like pay for college, and then like they get into like a war when like while he's been recruited or whatever. And I think that there's definitely like I think that like they shade him well without like kind of getting him off the hook for like the way he's acting or the way
because he is still like incredibly like disrespectful and
and mean, and that like, and just like
like to Janeway's face and like to other crew members.
Like, he's just not helpful.
But he, basically like his reasoning is like it's not that I like want to be here and I'm like doing a bad job of it. I like I don't believe in what we're doing. I shouldn't be here.
Which is like which is like, again,
I'm just doing this because I have to, essentially.
Yeah, and it's like that's the kind of person, that's the kind of problem, and it's like she can't motivate him in the same way that she can motivate, for example, the Bajoran person who like really wants to do a good job and just is just not good like at her job.
Yeah, because her thing is that like she tries really hard. She's always like tried really hard, and is just kind of like her best is just never quite like good enough.
Yeah.
And they talk about kind of the same sort of thing, where it's like if she was in like Starfleet in the Alpha Quadrant, like she would have like pretty quickly either kind of like flunked out and like just gone to do something else, or like gotten kind of assigned to some like minor out of the way thing, or like
right. It seems like they're kind of like basically like, obviously the one guy wouldn't be there anymore, and the other two people would have like desk jobs. Is essentially like what I think is being...
like they would have because they talk about like, which I think she was the one that was like the most identifiable like to me, of just like both a like kind of feeling that I have had, and then like a sort of other people I've experienced, like especially in like a very sort of like high stakes, like competitive, high intensity like field, like there definitely are those people that it's just like, it's like, this is what they really want to do. They sort of are working as hard as they can and trying as hard as they can, and just like not able to cut it like to the level that you kind of need to in like something that's that competitive or that high stakes.
Yeah.
And she talks about how like, if I was doing a different job, I could make mistakes and it would be fine. But like this, if I make a mistake here, like I'm putting other people at risk. This is a serious thing.
Yeah.
And I thought she was like, she did a really good job of kind of playing that. Like she knows sort of like that this is a problem, and like is doing everything she can, and just like can't. Yeah. And I think there's, and a lot of it does seem to come down to like, she's bad at, like, she's someone that I think I almost wish they had gone a little bit of a step further, of like that they're able to find like there's some other strength that she has in something else, and just like she shouldn't be in engineering or like something where there's a lot of like math and science, but like and I think they try to, where like she's great at like leadership and like talking to other people and like having ideas, and like because like she's the one that like is like encouraging and comforting the other guy when he's got an alien inside of him and that kind of thing. And like, that's where her strengths are. And like, she should just like, it is kind of a, like, using someone in an area where their skills are not.
Yeah.
And then the other guy is just very anxious about getting infected with alien viruses.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't know. He was, I think, like for sure.
Well, yeah,
I think he's kind of the weakest of like the three of them, in my opinion. But
well, yeah, this is a good question actually. So you tell me what you think. So like, which of these people, like, I guess, would you least like if you had to rank people in order of how much you'd want to manage them, and then also like how annoying you would find them personally? like how would you organize that question?
I guess it's tough, because like I think I would probably still take like the Bajoran first, because like I think there's value to someone who like really wants to do a good job. And like I get, like, obviously it's frustrating if like you're having to kind of like go behind them and like fix things or double check things, but I would like someone like that more, and like working with them if like they are trying. I think the hypochondriac guy like is kind of this weird balance of like, he seems like he's actually like pretty good at his job. It's just, it would be real annoying to just have to listen to that all the time.
Yeah.
And like just kind of constantly be like having to like baby that, like just sort of like manage that element of it. And like the other guy, again, like is clearly like the smartest and actually like, can do all the things that you tell him to like very easily. It's just that like everything is a fight because he's such a jerk that like
Right. Well, he's so like toxic, I think. Like,
yeah,
you know.
that like yeah, I don't know that I'd be willing to make that trade-off.
Yeah, I think we agree. I think we agree certainly on like he would be probably the worst person to have as an employee. On probably like the biggest person to not like to be around in, you know, besides that. The other two, it's interesting because it's like I think that like the the guy who is just a hypochondriac, I'm kind of like I just don't have and I find that personality type to be like a tough one to deal with on a personal level where sometimes I'm just like, okay, man, like this isn't
Yeah, like
how
to
much of
every
how much
time
of a,
have to like listen to it again and
right
be
where
like,
it's just
okay, like we'll take it
this is,
seriously.
like,
Like, yeah.
this doesn't seem like a real problem, you know. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I think that that would be like the easiest one of those people to like manage or have as a coworker or an employee or whatever you want to say, because like ultimately, like you just have to know
Like
what
whenever
to
he's
tell
not
them.
in sick bay, he's actually doing his job well.
Right. It's like, yeah, you just have to know what to tell them to do. Like, and so like, it's frustrating. Whereas like the Bajoran, I'm like, well, you seem like probably a fine person to spend time with, but you would be like a bad person to
like really frustrating to have to like
manage, because you're just like, well, I can't actually.
with.
You're not really being helpful, you know. Like even if you want to be.
Yeah, if you're like creating more work than you're doing, then yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So.
Yeah, I definitely get that. So yeah, so they've kind of like established all three of these, and then they go out, they get hit by this like wave of dark matter, I think they say, like breaks off a piece of the hull and disables the shuttle, and then they're working to try to fix it. And again, kind of like all of these people's different like weaknesses kind of come into play that like of why they're trying to fix it. Like the you know, cosmology guy is like, oh, well, there's this like theoretical thing that I came up with and wrote a paper on that I think it's this, and like we need to immediately like eject the warp core, and I'm going to do it even though like I don't care what my captain tells me to do, and she has to like argue with him about that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's kind of like, you know, the Bajoran is like doing scans and things and like is upset because she missed it because she's not good at scans. And then they do like, I don't know, it kind of felt like a very hard left turn because up until this is just very much a like, oh, like the ship broke down, we have to fix the ship, and then suddenly the hypochondriac guy gets abducted by like extra dimensional aliens.
Yeah.
And like beamed back onto the ship with like a centipede crawling around under his skin.
Which I did. I liked that though, because it's like, well, this is like they all are faced with like their problem, and then they all kind of have to deal with it. Like, and I think that they deal with it all in like kind of different ways and different levels of success. Where it's like this. I mean, it would be horrible. I mean, to have a centipede in you, regardless, but especially for someone like that, where it's like, okay, well, like,
yeah, this is the thing you've always feared.
Yeah, it's like you know, I'm an anxious person at times. I you know, I have not to this level. I think I do a pretty good job of like trying to keep it managed and stuff, but like I have like this weird thing where I don't like driving behind vehicles that have like stuff in the back of them, like in like if like a truck bed with a lot of stuff, or like I don't like driving behind like a lumber truck or a truck with like that's carrying
something where like
cars.
You feel like something could just kind of like slip off and like fly back.
Yeah, even though I know it's not going to happen, right? Like
yeah.
And a few years ago, I was driving behind because I will like legitimately like try to pass them or like go to the other lane or whatever. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And then a couple years ago, I was driving behind a pickup truck that had like it had a bunch of stuff in the back, and it had a grill, like a kind of an old timey like clamshell metal grill.
Oh, sure, one of those like circular. Yeah.
Yeah, and and I was looking at it and I was like, the top of that thing does not look super duper secure. And I was kind of getting ready to, I think there were other cars in the lane, so I couldn't like just move. And then the top, the clamshell did fly off and it went under my tire, like while I was driving.
Oh no.
And whatever, I wasn't driving too fast. And I think like probably it was also helpful that like I am so hyper cognizant of that stuff. So like as soon as it happened, I was like, oh, it's happening. And then like I was able to pull up really quickly.
You slow down. You weren't like right up on them.
It's like,
it does not help. It does not do anything to help you. Like,
it's one of those things where
fear
like,
that is a thing that's going to happen.
This is the thing that I've always been maybe somewhat irrationally afraid of happening. And now it is occurring to me,
right.
So I did feel for him in that moment where I was like, oh, the only thing he wants is to not have like a crazy like germ thing.
Yeah. Like alien thing inside of him.
That's the thing that's happening to him,
It's like visibly happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then basically like they're like, oh, it's a like creature that exists in like dark matter, and at one point it starts like kind of like puppeting his like nerves or muscles or whatever and like making him walk to the bridge and like try to like start accessing the ship systems. Mm-hmm. And then it like crawls out of him and like attaches itself to like the console and is like affecting the life support, and then eventually Heron like shoots it and kills it. And like, in all of this, Janeway is just like, this is a new life form. Maybe it's trying to like communicate with us. Can we figure out how to like talk to it and figure out what he wants? And then like gets mad at Heron for just like murdering it basically.
Yeah. He just shoots it.
Yeah. Which it also does the like, I feel like we've had a few episodes of Voyager that do this thing where they never really, like, you never find out what's really going on. There's a weird alien that's kind of like doing something or trying to do something, and they survive it, but you never like have the like, and then we like sat down and talked to it and figured out what it wanted. It's just like they got away from it, and like you never really know what it was or what it was trying to do.
Which I kind of like when Star Trek does that, where they're just like, yeah, we can't just figure all this stuff out. Like,
like I think I don't know. I thought of like a couple of recent ones we had, like the one where like the doctor's memory gets altered or whatever. Where like you never find out what that alien that showed up and like shot them was doing.
That episode is so good.
Yeah. Or even like the 40 Days, like the Tom Paris goes to the brig one. Like, there's kind of this whole like thing of just like, like some aliens like put this ocean in space and we don't know why or how.
Right. Yeah.
But it's here now. Mm-hmm. And like, I like when they sort of leave this kind of like bigger like mystery going on that you never find out about.
Right.
It makes things feel bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so then they're like, oh, now is it like do the aliens have like a ship, or is there just like a anomaly chasing it, or do you ever really know? Like,
I think it's like
something starts like chasing them. Like
it was like an invisible ship or something, but I wasn't.
Yeah, that was kind of the vibe I got. Because it's like made out of dark matter, so they can't detect it, but like they can see it's starting to like chase them and is going to attack them. And so they're like, well, we have to like, we can't get the warp engines working, so we have to blow up a torpedo in this, because at this point they're in like the rings of a planet, and so they're like, if we blow up this torpedo in there, it'll like make this like shockwave that'll push us out to safety. And then Janeway basically is just like, I will, I'll do that, like you guys should all get in escape pods and try to escape and get back to the ship. And the two, like the Bajoran and Telfer are like, no, like we're good crew members now, we're gonna stay with you. And Heron, the one that's a jerk, is just like, okay, well I'm leaving. Like, screw you guys, and like goes and gets on the escape pod. But then you find out actually he's going to try to like sacrifice himself to let the ship escape. So he's going to like try to distract the aliens so that the rest of them can escape. And
this was maybe the one part of this episode that didn't fully work for me because I basically really liked this episode.
Yeah.
I kind of don't think that he should have gotten a redemption arc based on like his behavior in the episode, where I'm like, I think that like it's maybe a more effective, it's a more effective writing if like, because I think what I like about like the other two is that the other two, like their problems are kind of like resolved in different degrees, and I think that like there's an interesting like thing there to think about in terms of like, you know, some people are just not going to, I'm not even going to say that they're just going to suck, but so some people are not, you're never going to interact with them in like fully the way that you want to. And so like, you know,
Yeah.
Telfer, he gets I would
he's
say,
cured somehow.
He's cured. But like, you know, I think that makes sense basically, where it's like he survives this incident and he's like, okay, like I lived through that.
Yeah,
Like,
if I can survive like a big centipede under my skin, like then now I'm no longer as worried about like,
right. And it's like, and that kind of
cold
thing can happen
or whatever.
But I love the other person. It's like she exhibits some personal growth and stuff, but like she still is bad at math. I love
yes.
that at the end. that moment
so
at the end when she's like, shockwaves coming in 3, 2, 1, and then it hits like a few seconds later,
and then like, everyone just kind of like sits there for a second.
And she's like, you're close enough or whatever, like more or less. She says,
yeah, and then they get
4, 3, 2, 1, and then like pause. Then the shockwave hits more or less, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, you know, I think that this probably has been helpful to her in her productivity or whatever, but like ultimately, you can't fix that she's not good at this, really, you know. And I think that like. I do think that like for him to also like to be like
actually I do
the entire
care about these
time,
people.
and then at the very end to be like, well, I'll do this really selfless thing that is like so out of character. And it's like sometimes you do have to fire people, you know, like sometimes like people don't work out, sometimes they do just kind of suck, and like the thing that you have to do is to get rid of them or whatever, you know, like you don't want to be blasé about that, but like it just happens sometimes. Like, and like, I think that kind of is out of character for him. And I think, not that I think he should have died or whatever. I think cause it's like, you can't really have him just straight up die when he's following Janeway's orders, because I think then that the implication is then, well, then Janeway did a pretty bad thing on accident, because she would have condemned the other two to die if she left
him stay on the ship.
But like, I mean, like, I think it would have been maybe better if like he had just gotten away, and then they kind of
meet him back on the ship,
pick him up
like,
later.
Oh,
and he's
you
just
survived
really,
too, huh?
And he's just really embarrassed. Yeah, like I think, I kind of think that would have been better if you're just like, yeah, sometimes like people are just going to be a problem. Like, or you're like, I think having him be selfless, I'm sort of like, I don't know, that rings.
Yeah, I mean, I get like they want to just kind of neatly wrap it up and be like, and Janeway like fixed all of these people on this mission just like she tried to,
because I think that she still fundamentally does the right thing, you know what I mean? And so like it's not like, it's not I think that even if he was an issue, I don't think it would have represented like a failing really on her part in any kind of significant way, like because I think, but like, yeah, that would be my one criticism.
That would have felt more,
it would have felt a little bit more real, I think, if that hadn't happened. But but yeah, I still like it, though.
Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They escape, they get like picked up by Voyager, and there's the little like kind of scene where she's laying in sickbay and looks around at all of them, and she's like, I think they're gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. Like that ends.
That's
so
yeah.
But yeah, good one. I mean, I think we've already kind of talked about like what we liked about it, but yeah, I think a really strong episode of season 6 of Voyager, which is a pretty good season of Voyager in my recollection. Season 7 is the end. That's actually, I was thinking of season 7. So yeah, season 6, I don't really have a lot of memory of like which ones are there, but like, yeah, I really enjoyed it though. So
yeah, me too. My only other note was that there's a point where they're like getting like rations from the replicator or whatever, and they're like, oh, you should try Neelix 651, and it like then they show it and it's just like Progresso chicken noodle soup. Like it's got like the same little like spiral noodles.
It's like Andorian chicken noodle soup or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is funny. A lot of people talking positively about Neelix's food though too in this episode, which is like unusual. But
Right.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. We come out every other week, so we're going to be back in a couple of weeks with Ceasefire, which is Star Trek Enterprise season 2 episode. Do you remember which episode it is? I don't have it up.
Right 15, I think.
I think that's right. But it's the one that's called
That's
Ceasefire.
what I have written down is it's 15.
Yeah, it's the one that's called Ceasefire. It's in the middle of season 2 of Enterprise. So you can check that out, and we'll be talking about it in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, you can follow us on Blue Sky at Contreks. You can email us at outofcontreks@gmail.com. You can visit our website at outofcontreks.podbean.com, or you can follow us on YouTube at Out of Contreks. Contreks is spelled Contreks. You can also check out the other show on the Kaleidoscope Media Podcast Network, which is Here's Johnny, a horror media podcast. You can check that out. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.